Hey guys, I don't really know how to do this. I don't have a script or anything for this, but I thought I'd run you through what I would do on a completely fresh install of Team Fortress. I do this frequently enough that it's something that I would bug others to do, prioritize, because base game on Team Fortress can be a little bit frustrating for newer players, and it doesn't look good, and there's a ton of different secret settings that really hinder the new player experience. So I thought I'd run through all the things that I would change and stuff on a fresh install. So here's my config folder and my custom folder. I have some stuff in here right now, but I'm going to get into that. But for now, what I'll actually do is delete it. Let me just double check here. This is going to be the hit sound and kill sound, which we'll get to later. But this is pretty much a fresh install TF2. These two things won't be in here, but we're going to make these. And I'll show you how to do that too. So first off, let me just do this, which will help verify that it's a new thing. We're going to do Autoconfig, and this will set the game to be whatever it thinks is the best for the system. You don't have to hit save or anything, but you go to properties, and then you go to general, and then it should be under launch options. Yours is probably blank, but you could do Autoconfig just like me. And then we'll hit play. Once it's boot up, it's going to be the base version of the game. It's very normal. A few things you can double check are if you go to video and then advanced, it'll tell you what DirectX version you're on. Mine is 9 plus at the moment. For many of you it will be, but that can change. Here's what the base game looks like. Everyone looks great. Everyone looks awesome. Guns look fine. A little bit blurry, but I mean, how much can you ask for? Everything's default. It means that it worked, and auto set its thing. So we're gonna back out of this. We do that to use the auto config, and now we want to clear it because we don't want to start the game and it still have that, or else it's going to reset the config file every time. If we go into TF2 and then TF config, oh, look at that, there's stuff in there now. This stuff automatically gets put in there. It's just kind of where your binds are, what will enable and stuff. This did this all on its own. Auto config based off what it thinks is best. I just searched this up. It's called Mastercomfig, COMFIG, and we want to go to the app. I did a video on this, which was how to make Team Fortress HD in 60 seconds, and I used this app. There we go. And we'll just make the game look good for now. I mean, for most gamers, you probably want to do medium high. I'm focused on content creation, so I'm going to go ultra, not sacrifice anything. We're just going to kind of take the most out of TF2. And if you wanted to, you can go through and check out what each of these does. You can see the models. It gives you some pictures based off what's going on. So honestly, most gamers probably have medium, maybe high, but even ultra is a little bit different. Lighting is just how many fixtures there are and where all the light sources come from. Shading on characters, lights being casted instead of just lighting up the floor so you can see. And if we click on the little book here, it'll give you a little bit more details on what each of these does. Lighting EX, this is an old command. This is very popular with gamers. It's basically matte Fong 1 or 0, which basically makes your game either look a little bit more cartoonish, I guess, if you want to call it that. Look at this bat. It looks like it was hand-drawn, whereas if you do this, it adds that kind of shine to the bat. It adds shine to the rubber of the pyro. Even on the rocks and the flooring and stuff, there's different things that reflect off the sides. This one's personal preference. A lot of people really like this look. I think for this video, I might as well just use it like this. I might as well just do it because I do like that look. Shadows, same thing with the lighting. It's how many dynamic and all that. I won't go into the details of all of these, but I'm just giving you an example of what is worth. Can you tell the difference between these two images? Just medium. There's ultra. Not really. But if we go to low, you can see that it takes the dynamic light off of the character. So it depends on what you think is worth doing so. And this counts for shadows on props and things that move, dynamic lights and all that. Likewise with water, it's one of those things where I wouldn't make it too low because then you can't even see through it. You couldn't even see players that are in the water. If they're submerged or almost completely submerged, it's very hard to see them. I would go medium high, medium even, like minimum, even if I was on the really low presets for like FPS boosting. It's just hard to see them. Motion blur off, that should be off by default in this setting, but in Team Fortress 2's default setting, it's on. And we'll go over those once I'm back in game to make sure that even if you don't use this app, if you skip this section of the video, then I'll show you base game what you should change in the settings. But this app is going to change a lot of the stuff for us. Player model, personal preference, I turn it off. Outlines, this is a performance thing. This is pretty big for this weapon in particular, and all that. You won't even see your bombs unless you have them. I would do low. That's pretty rare that I use this item unless it's MVM. High is one thing, but I just don't really need it. Map background. This is one that's a little bit interesting. For some people this might be more useful, or for some people it might be more of a burden. If you ever booted up the traditional Team Fortress 2 on the Xbox or any of that, the background was live, and that looked pretty cool. So if you want something like that, you can set it to a different map, Item Test or Dust Bowl. I can show you how to change that map. Preload is good because it'll open up Item Test and then close it really quick so that it goes just to your menu, but it preloads all the mods. Sometimes your mods need to be loaded in on a server that has SV cheats off before they work. Some view model mods and some mods that change the effects in the game need that. So this might prove useful. For example, I'm going to turn it on to Dustable, just for example. But we will change that. You know what? I'll change it to Item Test just because that'll load a lot faster. It'll be less of a... Nah, I'll turn it to Dust Bowl just to prove my point on the background. It is pretty neat. It's a pretty neat feature. It's cosmetic, but some people think it gets in the way. It's an extra step. These I'll keep on. Everything else is fine. Down here you'll have add-ons. Null canceling movement. This is really awesome. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but you get used to it pretty quick. And flat mouse I would definitely do, especially if you are at all interested in sniper. You do not want mouse acceleration, and when you zoom in with your scope, you want it to be kind of the same sensitivity as the other one, whereas like that's just because it's the only weapon that does that. You're not going to be aiming down sights in this game except with sniper, and this is something I would too, just to get used to as soon as you could. All these other things are explained, and we won't be using them. These hinder your kind of gameplay depending on what you think, and this is useful for people who want a more competitive view model. Like if you feel like your view model gets in the way too much, even min mode, you will probably want this enabled, just so that if you choose a HUD that supports it, then it'll still work. We would use direct install, but even this crashes on me these days, so I'm just going to click download. Download here. Mine has a 2 because I've done this before, and look at that, there are some launch options down here just like with the Autoconfig. So right away I'm going to open up my Steam, right click, properties, launch options, paste. Now this is in here. We don't have to hit save or anything, we just hit the X. If we open it up, oh, it's still there. Okay, if we go over to our binds here, this part is important because it seems to only work if you have the null canceling movement script enabled. You'll need to bind the keys using customize above. So to do that, you'll click right here, binds underneath customize. You will make, and I'll show you, we will go to this thing that says unbound, and we will go W, select a command, move forward. We'll go A, select a command, move left. S, select a command, move back. B, select a command, move right. This just is like, you don't normally have to do this in the game, but if you do download the pack without having selected the binds thing, it won't use the null canceling movement, and I'll show you what the difference is once we get into it. I'll show you what it is on screen probably. There's a pretty big difference between the two, and there are videos that explain it, but I'll just show a quick preview of what I'm getting at. After that, I would probably change shift to duck. That's important, and you can do this in game and it should save, but this is just in case it doesn't. We're gonna open up our downloads here. I've got some down here. This is the HUD I'll be using. These are also sound effects that I'll be using for the hit and kill sound. And this is what we just downloaded. This is the config. I'm gonna name it Ultra Preset. We will go to our Team Fortress folder, and if you don't know where that is, you can just right click your Team Fortress folder and then go to Manage and then Browse Local Files. I save this in my quick access by pinning it there because I frequent this folder quite a bit. We will take our new Ultra preset thing that we just made, drag it in here, and we will extract it here in the Team Fortress 2 file, right here. You should see these. You probably won't have these two here. These are other config files I've made. We'll extract these here. If we go into our TF folder, and then to our config folder, there should be these things here. You'll look this up, and there are all of these. Oh, forgot to mention before I downloaded something. And next, we will boot up TF2 so that you guys can see some of the changes that I was talking about. It didn't do the intro because we added in the launch options to skip the intro. That's one of the things in the launch options. There are videos that explain what all those different things do and say, but I'm just trying to get through this. Look familiar? There we go. There's a few things you'll notice right out the gate. There's the badge isn't very shiny. That's one of the things that with the matte Fong change, that's the lighting thing, it's not shiny anymore. It lost the shine. That is a personal taste thing. If we go into advanced here, we're still on DirectX 9. There's some things in here that are changed, but we're not touching any of this stuff. If you don't use the app and stuff, you'll want to go to motion blur here and make sure that that's disabled. The field of view option is here. You'll turn that all the way up to the max, and then you'll just hit OK. Multi-core rendering, you want that on. VSync, you want that off. Everything else is personal preference. It's as much as you want to or don't want to get into. I'm just going to hit cancel so I don't change or apply anything. The advanced options go through a lot of that stuff too. We will get into some other changes so you guys can see what it looks like. You'll see sometimes the bot killer weapons are a little slow. But characters aren't shiny. That was the only thing that I disabled as far as that. But like the textures still look great. Shine is still there, and it's much slower. So we can watch it kind of crawl across the weapon. Kind of neat. There's a mod that'll really boost that, and we'll get into that too. We'll change the hit sound and kill sounds. Then we will change the HUD. And then when I review them, we'll see the both of those. And then we'll get into the mods. Whenever you have a map background like this one, sometimes you'll have to disconnect. And then it'll take you to the menu. And then you can disconnect. Minimal HUD is on. glow effects is off. Use player model HUD in player class HUD is off. Saves frames. I already know what class I'm playing and what I'm wearing. It's useful if you really want to main spy and you want to know who you're, if you want to know who you're disguised as, and you can see the items and cosmetics that they're wearing, and you can kind of pretend to be them more. But once you have the actual game sense, you probably won't be worrying about that kind of thing. It's minimized view models. So normally they look like this, and that's quite a bit of space. And it's quite close to you. Some people like the way this looks. I don't like the way this looks personally, but a lot of people do like it. So I'm going to go back and change those. So I want to have minimized view models, and we'll hit OK. That's going to move it down to the lower part, and that's without changing the view model FOV. You guys are going to have this off by default, but in advanced, you should have enable developer console on and fast weapon switch. You can hit the little tilde key, which is to the left of the number 1 on most keyboards, or underneath the escape button, and it'll bring up this menu. To see some of that stuff, some of the differences, you can go view, let me disable that, view model underscore FOV. Default is 70, but if I make it 90, it goes out a little bit farther. Personal preference, I like the way it looks. It cuts off the arm there on the sides, so some people don't like that. View model FOV, go maybe 80, somewhere nice in between. And then you can also go FOV underscore desired. The default is 70, so this is what that looks like. Here's the maximum. You can see just a little bit more. So when you are looking in the box, you can notice that this swings a little bit slow, but it swings at a default speed when you're actually holding it in game, so it's not too different. Anyways, this is where we're at. Now we're going to change the hit sound, the kill sound, and the HUD. Disconnect. Leave the game. Hey. Display capture. Yep. Better be on. Now that we're done with this website, they have HUDs here. You can check out these HUDs. There's tons of places you can get HUDs. A lot of these are awesome. Weird Core HUD is pretty cool. Gives you a couple previews of what's going on, a little bit quick. So if you want something crazy zany, there's something like this. Cool icons, funny looking ammo counters, low HP, low ammo. It's all over the place. Really awesome. Creative. Cool stylized character icons. The buttons are in different places. Here's the class select. Looks awesome. Tons of different places. I use Sky HUD. It's a little bit more simplistic. I like the font they use. I like that it's centered. I like the buttons and icons. So that's what I'm going to be using. If you wanted something a little more custom, something you could do yourself, you could go to Toon HUD. Toon HUD is great because you can make it by profile. Even I have one. You can customize yours completely. Different fonts, different things you want to see or not see, different colors and color. Like, you can change everything you like. So if this is more your speed, you can do that. If you want complete customization, and it's very vanilla friendly, it looks really clean. Change the crosshair too. All of these are awesome. No matter what, eventually when you download the one that you're looking at, I did have one already prepared, but we'll download it and then we'll go to the Team Fortress folder here, and we'll go to the TF folder, and then we're going to go to custom. If you don't have custom already, just make one. called custom all lowercase. In this one, you will put your HUD. So we'll find the HUD that you downloaded. For instance, mine's right here. We'll put it here in custom and then extract. So that's going to be completed. Let's get kill sound and hit sounds in here. This is my folder for that stuff. So you can name the folder whatever you like. You can name it my custom sounds, or hit and kill sounds, whatever you like. I put it in Kai stuff just because that's easy for me to remember where I put stuff. Whatever you name the folder, you're going to name a new folder called sound in that folder. Then you're going to name one called UI. This should not be in here yet. When you start up the game, you'll have one. But you're going to make a new one called UI. This is where you're going to put your hit and kill sound. So we're going to delete these for now. There's not going to be anything in there for you. Then we're going to find where we want sounds. You can download them off YouTube. I'm not going to tell you how. You can figure that out. You can download them on other sites. A really easy one is those sound button websites. I'm trying to remember what those are called. Yeah, sound buttons. You can find really funny blah blah blah, different whatever. Usually something short, something like a 3-second thing. I've already got 2 sounds that I'm going to use, but I'll show you how to edit them and put them in, because they can't just be MP3s. When you download these, they're probably going to be MP3 files. So if we download it, it's an MP3 file. That's great. You're going to want to get this app. If you don't have it already, you might just find a converter online. Whatever is easier. Audacity is free and it's super simple to use. You should just have it. It's useful for tons of stuff. We're going to go in here and we're going to add whatever sound you downloaded. I already have 2 that I really like, so I'm going to use these instead. So this will be the kill sound. Really loud. That's great. You probably want it loud because, as long as it's not peaking like crazy, which you'll know if it's fully barred up here, then you're probably okay. You're going to want to cut out where there isn't any sound. You can you drag and then hit delete. We will go and we will name this kill sound. And you want to make sure that in the format it's a WAV file, not an MP3 file. It has to be a WAV file. So you want this to be just kill sound, not kill sounds, not kill sound _1. It has to be kill sound.wav. You're going to go to browse. You should find your Team Fortress folder, your TF, custom, the folder you made, sound, UI. You're going to place this here. You're going to hit save. It has to be in the sample rate 400, 4100 or lower. That's the sound sample rate for the game. It's probably already selected as such, but if it's not, make sure it is. And then 16-bit PCM. That's perfect. Export. Alright, now it's in there. We can double check. Custom, the folder you made, sound, UI. There it is. Now we're going to do the hit sound, which is the same thing, just naming it hit sound instead. That could have been the hit sound if I wanted it to, but I'm definitely not going to use that. So we're going to go back to downloads. We're going to find the sound that you want through here. It's probably a MP3 file, usually is. This one happens to be a WAV already, but it could be an MP3. Something short. This one's less than half a second long, which is awesome. Sounds great. So we're going to go to export audio, and we're going to name this one hit sound. Not hit sounds, not hit sound 1, not any other random name. It has to be hit sound. The folder is already selected. Should be UI, sample rate 44.1, 16-bit. Now it's in there. We can double check. TF custom, not that. So really quick, if it out the gate isn't working, some HUDs some custom HUDs have custom sounds and like different sound things. Sometimes your HUD will make sounds, and like the crazy wacky cool HUD, it tends to bug out with that, and it has something to do with making its own sound cache. If you see a sound cache file, try deleting it and then booting up the game. We'll delete this one for me because there shouldn't be any until you boot it up and use it. So I'll delete that one for now because I have 2 sounds. Don't need to save the project, we're good. These 2 are done, and my HUD is in here, which I extracted and placed here. Awesome. So let's boot up the game. Time to play the game! Now I know it's not done loading yet because the map background hasn't loaded in, so it's still getting all that. There it is. We can go to items. Our guys are in on this HUD. So certain HUDs allow different customizations. It's a little bit slower when you rotate. That's nice. A little bit more controlled. If you hold the right click, you can zoom in and out. If you hold your middle mouse button, you can drag them around. Zoom in, spin, drag them around. And then if you hold Alt and click, you can rotate it. Wow, cool. Funny little guy. Okay. Now, if we go and test our kill sound here, what we'll do is we'll go to find a server, and we'll just go to tr_walkway. This is just a test to make sure our hit sound is working. I meant to put that in map. Do that down here. Refresh. But great. So if it's not loud enough here, you might want to adjust it in Audacity. There is a effect that will allow you to amplify that. But it looks like they did work. The kill sound sounds good. And if you have a character that has an automatic weapon, hopefully it's not too annoying. That's like, if you might not want it to be louder if you do find yourself playing those classes like Pyro and like Pyro mostly, or Heavy, I guess. Sounds great. Of course, you'll be able to change it to whatever you like. But yeah, there's that. Now for the very last step is the mods. I will show you how to do that, how to install them, and which ones I would use. You can use crazy wacky ones. The basic rules are that most servers land between 3 different types of allowance, like to what you can get away with, and it's usually you go to the Game Banana website. So it lands between like 3 different levels of what it allows. Like, it's hard to explain. You'll know once you're kind of in it. But for example, casual mode is pretty restrictive on what it allows you to and to not use. View model changes, and sounds and effects are all different types of mods, like you can see in here. And certain servers will allow different ones. You'll kind of know based off what servers you play in as you go along. So, you know, at your own risk. They're not bannable, because most of them, if not, are all client side. Different ones will change different view models and stuff. Pretty cool, pretty cool. This one has a new inspect for the knife, makes it more stylish. Look at that. Counter-Strike mod, right? So how do we install this? So we can go to ModBoy one-click install. If you don't have that, I do recommend that you do. For now, we'll just go to the manual download just because ModBoy makes it really simple. So how to install ModBoy? This one right here. One-click install, download ModBoy. Usually it's whatever the most recent file is. Boink. Download. Boink. I already have it, so it's going to have the one next to it. But you can double click it. You'll hit yes. Next. Create shortcut. Install. I already have it, but you know, that'll put it there on your thing. If I open up ModBoy here. ModBoy. Yes. It opens this and shows your recently installed mods. My stuff should start loading here. You'll go to settings. You'll go to temporary download path. Pretty sure. You'll want to set up finding your Team Fortress 2 path is basically what I'm getting at. It should be somewhere in here. So let me reset this. Save. Reset. Which you'll want to locate your TF folder because you're going to be placing your mods into the custom folder, probably, and it can usually find stuff out from then. There are videos that if you have any problems with this, you might want to just search those up instead. You'll usually just click this and it should do it automatically. We'll do manual just for example. Download, and then we're going to go to our custom folder. And we're going to put that download in the custom folder here. Custom, and then we will extract. Puts the folder here. There's the models, weapon, spy animations, dope. So once that's in, you should have the basic idea of where those things are at. I usually keep the zip files in here just so that I know where they're at and can reapply them if I messed up maybe, or they're just not working with another mod, so I can choose which ones to delete and then extract it. But yeah, it's already here in your downloads, so it's not like you necessarily need to, but there's that. If you have ModBoy, it'll also keep track of mods that you used in the past or previously, like these. None of these were in there, but they are mods that I'll use. This changes the explosions, the muzzle flash, the fire, and the trails on rocket jumping soldiers, the headshot effect, shooting dirt, you know, different effects like that. It looks great. Scouts double jump. So this is awesome. I like this one. I'll put this link in the description. Kylo's, I don't know. Animation pack is great. So we'll put that in. This is the all-in-one folder. I will put this here. This puts all the classes to have their reanimated first-person things. There is one that I did want. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was the killstreak sheen. We want killstreak sheen. There are mods that change that, and for this one, I want them to pulse. We want them to pulse. There's custom effects, which is really cool. This is the OG one that I remember. I wonder if it's broken. I don't think it's broken. The answer is yes. Great. Sometimes mods are super old. This one's from 11 years ago. Does it still work? Yes. That's awesome. Download. You see it doesn't have a ModBoy download, so we'll download it here. So we'll go to Team Fortress, TF, Custom, and we'll open up our downloads folder as well. And we'll put the pulsing killstreaks in here and extract it. Ta-da! And now we will test to see if this has worked. This should be fine. This should have worked. We'll know that it's fully loaded in once the background is. If that's something that you didn't select, that's okay. But if you did select it, it preloads the mods that you download, just in case. You know, that's always helpful. Go to items. So we should pick the one that has a kill streak. We'll look at the kill streak and it should make the whole weapon glow. There we go. So it's up to you on the things you want to download. There's tons of different things, but the ones that I usually do, I like to try and keep it to the game, like the game aesthetic, if that makes sense. I'll get a map item test so we can see the tune effects as well. Would you look at that? So now we get the really cool inspect animation, and we still have Kylo. So I think, yeah, so Spy, because I selected that custom knife animation, it will override all of Spy's on Kylo's animations. Kylo's will not be used because I have this one. Looks awesome. But we will go and check out there's the explosion effects with the rocket trail, the shining kill streak. Looks great. Looks cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all I would do. It doesn't necessarily make the game any crazier, but I just want to show you how to do those things in case you were interested. A lot of them, like the very intro, does kind of make the game a bit easier to play for new players. The default view model and the default FOV are atrocious, for one. Everything else is kind of personal preference, but there's just some things that I just cannot stand, and it's those. As far as advanced settings, I did go over this in another video talking about the advanced settings, so I'll put that here. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this answers some questions. If you have any more, let me know, and I will probably get to them. Maybe not.